I'm Brownie,
And I'm Paul.
and welcome to Off the Ball with Browny and Paul.
And coming up on today's show, first of all, we look back at the Longridge game from this past Saturday. We're also going to see what in football needs to get in the bin, as we do with Dressing Room 101. And later on, we're also going to be joined by Prestwich manager Ryan Hutchinson and assistant manager Chris Lowe.
So first off, we'll have a look back on Saturday's game away at Longridge.
We're inside Adi Moran Park. We're about to set off to Longridge Town today for the last game of the season. And what a long season it's been. After 50 games, 58 goals scored with 22 different goal scorers, 71 yellow cards, 9 red cards and 70 different players used. For the final time this season, this is Matchday. And we had the luxury of travelling to the game with the players and staff. With safety all but secure, it was a great atmosphere as everyone was in a celebratory mood. We arrived at Inglewhite Road in plenty of time, so that gave Brownie the opportunity to speak to Chorus and Visa.
Right, Zach, last game of the season.
Yeah, big one.
Yeah, pretty cold up here today,
I
isn't
know
it?
it's freezing. Oh man, it's nippy.
Well, you won the penalty for
Against Earlham.
that was pretty nervy in the end, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I know. It was a big moment to be fair. I had to though because Shank won wide, didn't I? 5 minutes before, so I had to do something.
Yeah,
And then we won the
I
penalty
think
and
you
won
went
the
out for
game.
a throw-in, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a bad. Honestly, it actually was bad. Bobbled up, didn't it? Blame it on the bubble. Blame it on the bubble.
So how do you feel today will go then?
Yeah, it feels good to be honest. No, well, we're not 100% safe, but it feels good coming into this. And the vibes have been good to be honest. And
Yeah.
after everyone's going to be buzzing last game of the season.
The mood in the camp's good.
Yeah, it's up to be fair. The morale, is that the word? Morale's up, so yeah, everyone's buzzing to be honest.
Brilliant.
But first, the players came out for the final time this season, hoping to send the fans away happier than they already are. And Hayes had the first chance, but the flag went up for offside as Connor Martin and Michael Burke couldn't convert. An early chance for Longridge when they hit the bar, safely into the hands of Harry Allen. But the man of the match was the Longridge goalkeeper. Save after save he made, keeping Hayes at bay. A couple of long range distance shots from Alfie Belcher, couldn't get in. The Badrock effort went to the chest of the keeper, who's managed to keep it out before being fouled. And even Hayes' top goal scorer Max Baslero couldn't beat him at the near post. So the second half underway, and it was Prestwich again attacking, and yet again Keir Barry was keeping Prestwich out. However, a lovely 1-2 between Atkinson and Van Wyck ended up with Atkinson hitting the post before being the first one to react and put it away, giving Longridge the lead. Prestwich continued to attack, and they just could not get past Keir Barry in the Longridge goal. So it ended Longridge 1, Prestwich Hayes 0.
I'm stood on the step behind to be in the same shot as Harry. We've stayed up, albeit on goal difference, but it doesn't matter how we do it.
Yeah, well, we was up from last week, wasn't we? It's a bit of a killer because their keeper's an absolute blinder, and we should have got more from the game. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, does it? But yeah, disappointed not to finish on a high note.
Do you know what? It is what it is. We've had a good day out. Obviously you had to play the game, but it's been an enjoyable day out.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's always again. It's a bit of a dampener, isn't it? But we'll going back on the coach now, back to the clubhouse, and I'm sure we'll have a few sensible pints back there.
Right, so once again, I'm on the step above, so not look really short, but I've got David and James Badrock. So unfortunately, not the result we wanted today, but we've stayed up, albeit on goal difference. That doesn't matter, does it?
No, I think the goal was to stay up, and it's taken a lot out of the team to keep going every single week to keep dragging us out of that relegation zone, dropping back in, getting back out of it. So it's a shame not to have won today, but the main goal was to stay up.
Yeah, that's it. I think it would have been nice to finish on a win today, but yeah, when you put so much into the season, it does take it out of you.
Now, I find out today that you've actually only ever played against each other once, and I think the week after you ended up here.
Yeah. Believe it or not, yeah, it's only been once, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've always played together. Except when we went to university, we played different teams, but never came across each other. But then this season, when Prestwich played Glossop, we ended up playing against each other for the first time.
Yeah. So, I mean, which other teams have you played together for previously?
So we started off at going all the way back to 14. Well, juniors, we played at Rosehill, which is our local club. Then played for Burnley together. Played there for a couple of years, and Northwich Victoria. And then played for Govan Athletic in the Manchester League, Glossop, and then Prestwich here.
Well, been around the block a bit. but yeah, A's have stayed up. We're glad to have you.
And if you want to see the full version of that, there's a link in the description. So, moving on now, we want to see what in football should get in the bin as we do Dressing Room 101. So, are you ready for this, Brownie? So,
Yes.
What do we keep and what do we bin? So, first of all, we'll go with VAR. Do we keep VAR or should VAR get in the bin?
I think there's pros and cons to VAR. The big thing for me is that it takes too long. What I do actually love is when referees give a penalty. I must admit, I love them going over to the screen, looking at it, and the dramatic. I love it. I do love that. That's the greatest thing on earth. Well, it's not, but it's,
Yeah, for me in its current state, I'd say bin it, but with reform, keep it, and there will be reform going forward because they're not perfect with everything. They don't get every decision right, but it's still an increase in correct decisions than it was before. But maybe keep it in the top flight.
Yeah, I just think it takes too long. That's my big bugbear with it.
So we'll go. Shall we go with keep?
Yes, like you say, with reform.
Yeah. So we're keeping that out of the bin. The next one, the UEFA Conference League.
Who's the best mid-table team in Europe?
And who cares?
And they should never have got rid of the Cup Winners' Cup.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
And the Cup Winners' Cup was always the one bigger than the UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
And now the UEFA Cup is the secondary, and the Conference League is just it's poor in it. Let's have it right.
I mean, back in the day, you had your Champions League winners were your league winners. UEFA Cup was your runners-up. So you was pretty much guaranteed, for example, one of rather Barcelona or Real Madrid in the UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
Or one of them would have been in the Cup Winners' Cup.
In the Cup Winners' Cup, yeah. Absolutely.
And all three competitions, they were all held on different days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You had UEFA Cup on Tuesdays, Champions League Wednesdays, Thursdays was Cup Winners' Cup day.
Did you know Real Madrid never won the Cup Winners' Cup?
No, I did not know that.
That's a fact, yeah.
To be fair, they were in the Champions League most of the time.
Well,
or European Cup.
Or European Cup, as I still like to call it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, and what it doesn't help the UEFA Conference League being on the same night as the Europa League, so it's always going to be just overshadowed by that. And I'll admit, when I'm looking at results, I get confused about what competition it is.
Yeah. To me, it just seems unbearably pointless.
Yeah. Yeah, completely agree. So, are we going to bin the UEFA Conference League?
It's already in the bin.
All right,
you just need to check it's still there.
Bin men come on Friday, so.
Yeah.
Half and half scarves. I've changed that quickly.
I think we all know the answer to this.
Get in the bin.
The thing is, though, I'm old enough to remember the 1980s when, I don't know if you might not remember this, but people had those ski hats and they always had your team on one side and a Scottish team on another.
No.
So if you were at Old Trafford, you'd see a lot of people with United. It used to be United and Celtic, There was the odd United and Rangers one, but loads of teams did them. And you used to see that a lot. So it's funny because half an hour, obviously, that's the match day, it's whoever you're playing. But there used to be a thing years ago where you had two different teams on your hat.
Yeah, I mean, who would buy a West Ham versus
Millwall,
half and half, you know? But I think
you see it at United and City. You know, who'd won United and City scarf or United and Liverpool, and that's what the Premier League's aimed at these days. But yeah,
I think the only time it may be unacceptable is if there's two clubs that have a close link, maybe Juventus and Notts County, something like that at a push.
I think the only time it's acceptable to buy one is a European away game.
What about a really low non-league team drawing a top Premier League team in the third round of the Cup? What if Hayes managed to get somehow to round 3 of the Cup next season, drew Arsenal away, or even at home? I mean, when
I might buy one, but only for that reason.
Yeah, because Hayes and Arsenal are never going to play each other again.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Arsenal are a famous club, and a lot of people watching this, and a lot of people watching this are just wondering who we're talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Wondering what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Oh. But overall, would you sacrifice that just to put them in the bin altogether, even when it's Bournemouth versus Newcastle?
Yes. They're going.
Half and half scarves, get in
the bin.
Brilliant. All right, next one. YouTube vloggers go to football games and report their findings on YouTube.
There's some very irritating people on YouTube.
Yeah. Hello.
But I don't know. It's not for me. The sort that the sort of people who don't go to games, who film themselves watching a game. I don't get it. I don't understand that.
There are some who are the opposite way around, or there's a few that I'll admit I do watch and they love their football and they go every week. A few examples of YouTubers like Fusion Josh, Stumpeg, who even works on Sky Sports a lot now.
Stumpeg stuff's brilliant.
She knows her stuff.
Absolutely, 100%.
Ellis Patton, who does away days, is a really good one, and Sam North, who does Footy Adventures. He does pretty much all over the world, but his bread and butter is Scottish football. And before I watched him, I'll admit I had next to no interest in Scottish football. And he does every single level, really right down to the equivalent of Hayes' level in Scotland.
Right, yeah.
So at the bottom divisions there, at that equivalent level, they don't even have assistant referees. It's just the referee. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And some of the grounds, the non-league grounds in Scotland, are just so old and just so much character. And I never, without his YouTube channel, I never would have known that. And there are some grounds I now want to visit.
Yeah.
Because of Sam North and Footy Adventures. And anyone watching, go and check them out. Really should.
Yeah.
After you finish watching this, though. Yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose with that in mind, and I would have said put it in the bin, but you're right, and you've talked about stuff there that I hadn't really thought of.
And it also and a lot of them go to and a lot of them go to non-league games as well and gives publicity for clubs who will never get it in a million years otherwise. And some of them get hundreds of thousands of views that these non-league clubs are getting.
Yeah.
If any of you want to come to Hayes,
you've won me over there. You've won me over on that.
So we're keeping YouTube vloggers. Hey. Right, so our YouTube vloggers, you owe me one. You've got to come to a Hayes game. Bring your camera with you. Okay, next one. Playing in away shirts when it's not required. Tell by your face.
Oh, yeah. Now, anyone who knows me will know I am obsessed with football strips. And I've always said you respect your colours. And if you don't, if you're playing a team who don't play in the same colours as you, and you're doing that for the money, because let's face it, that's what's happening. It just irritates me. There's quite a good Twitter account. Yeah, I call it Twitter. Called Kit Crimes, and he posts loads of stuff about that when teams playing they're in strips when they really shouldn't be playing in their third strip, because it's actually probably closer to a kit clash than if they'd worn their home strip anyway.
Yeah, seen that myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only time it's acceptable is where there's a clash for people who are colourblind. That I can fully understand and accept.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That should happen. But yeah, apart from that. So, away shirts were not needed. Get in the bin. Get in the bin.
Give it the old Spanish Archer.
Yes.
Elbow.
Okay. Next. Nations League.
I understand why it's happened, because we're getting rid of those boring friendlies, but basically, who cares?
Yeah, they kind of replaced it with boring competitive games that nobody cares about.
Boring competitive friendlies.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's all well and good when you beat. Who did England beat? Was it Switzerland on penalties? And it was
I have
like,
no idea.
we're going back a few years now, but like, no.
I think for some of the smaller nations, it's their only realistic opportunity of qualifying for the Euros.
Absolutely, and you know what? And with that in mind, didn't San Marino win their group a couple of months ago?
They did, yeah.
So
should San Marino be winning anything?
Well,
no offense to San Marino.
They've got every right as anyone else to.
And that San Marino fan account on Twitter is brilliant. If you've not seen it,
Yeah.
That's the highlight of international breaks. That San Marino fan account is the highlight of your international breaks.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, going back to the Nations League, no.
In the
Big
bin?
no from me. Yeah.
All right.
Bin
Nations League, get in the bin. Got a nice cross. The next one then. Cup semi-finals at Wembley. So this will be the FA Cup semi-finals at Wembley. Do we even need to discuss this? Do we just need to say, get in the bin?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because it all started in the 1990s when I think it was Arsenal-Tottenham happened at Wembley. That was 91. Now, who did Tottenham? Right, because Arsenal-Tottenham played at Wembley, but Forest and West Ham played at Villa Park, I think, off the top of my head. And then 93 was Arsenal-Tottenham again. And because that was played at Wembley, Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United was also played at Wembley.
Right.
And that's how it sort of started. So it actually started back at the old Wembley. I know United played Oldham in 94, and I think Chelsea played Luton that year. They were both at Wembley. I think they stopped them for a while at Wembley, and when the new Wembley was built,
we've been there ever since.
And big no for me.
Same here, because it takes away of that prestige of the final of going to Wembley. That was always a thing. When you won a semi-final, you never said we're in the final. It's we're going to Wembley.
Yeah, correct.
And you hear at FA Cup quarter-finals when the team's winning 2-3-0 or whatever, and the fans are singing "We're going to Wembley." It's just not
wrong.
Yeah, you should be going to Villa Park or wherever for your semi-final.
Yeah,
probably like these days.
And I'm old school, mate. It's not the quarter final.
It's the sixth round. Okay, yeah. All right, fair enough. So semi-finals at Wembley, as I said before,
Absolutely not.
get in the bin.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, post-season friendlies.
Unbelievable things to have happened. You know, we've now scrapped FA Cup replays where smaller teams can have that chance to make a bit of money, but no, Tottenham want to play Newcastle in Australia 3 days after the season's finished.
For an extra couple of £1 million. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's greed.
It is. It is greed.
And the thing is, getting rid of FA Cup replays as well, especially from the first round onwards. Premier League teams don't even come into it till round 3.
No.
So you can even keep it till then.
Exactly.
We've still got it in the qualifying rounds where Football Manager's wrong in saying in the very early rounds you get bumper crowds in non-league games, non-league cup games. Those very early rounds, you do not. We get the same as we do in a league game normally in an early preliminary FA Cup round. It's only if you draw a big team you get the bumper crowds or you manage to get a good run going. So financially, we do take a hit still having to have a replay on the Tuesday night. But and when it comes to the big teams, they get to dictate what they want to do, and I think it's, and that's what this conversation comes to. If they weren't, FA Cup replays weren't scrapped, I don't think we'd have an issue with postseason friendlies. It's that it's just so hypocritical. You reason why you want to get rid of replays, and then you're sending your players 5,000 miles or whatever across the world, probably more than 5,000. I'm not very good at geography. I think that's still Europe, in it, 5,000 miles. So,
I think that might be Coventry.
Sure, it's 273 miles to London from here.
Yeah.
I know that. But yeah, you get that. That's the point, and that's why I do make it a bit, annoys me a bit. So post-season friendlies for me, just get in the bin and bring back cup replays. Take cup replays out of the bin. Okay, next one. Homemade FA Cups.
Right. Again, I think there's only two lots of people who can have these.
Yeah, and just for people who don't get what we mean, it's that in the crowd they have their own tinfoil, usually 2-day tinfoil FA Cup that they hold up, and usually on round 1 or round 3 days, usually the most common time you see it. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
I think if you are under 12 or you're a small team playing a big team, if it was, say, Liverpool against Arsenal and there's 3 blokes with tinfoil FA Cups in the Kop, you'd be like, sort it out, mate.
A round 3 game on a Sunday afternoon on ITV. Yeah. Agree.
Well,
I'll leave
kids or a small. If, like you said before, if Hayes miraculously drew Arsenal in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, I would turn up with a tinfoil FA Cup. A 45-year-old man. Well, by then I'll be 46 at least. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I would turn up with a tinfoil FA Cup.
So is it not okay if I take mine to our FA Cup extra preliminary round game against Stockbridge Park Steel in a few months' time?
In a word, no.
Okay. So what would you say then, with all that, the pros and cons? Homemade FA Cups. Keeping it. All right.
I'm keeping it because I think it's part of the magic of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I think.
Which is still alive.
Of course it is, and I love the FA Cup 3rd round draw. It's the greatest day in the calendar, and not a ball is kicked.
Yeah.
But you've got to have some kid with a tinfoil FA Cup in the early proper rounds. Brilliant, good on them. Love it.
Excellent. Okay, the last one. It always confuses you when I say it because you're not too familiar with it, and that's XG.
I still don't know what it
Yeah.
means.
I'm not. It stands for expected goals. So
Right,
it's one of
okay.
these modern stats that sports data scientists have come up with. So when a player has a shot or has a chance, what is the percentage chance that that should have been a goal? And what I find funny about it, especially on TNT Sport, you have Ali McCoist who does analysis commentary on there, where he says a striker has a chance and McCoist will say, oh, he should have scored. Then the XG comes out at like 0.1 or something, saying like a 10% chance he should have scored. I would bet on someone like Ali McCoist, a goal-scoring legend, to be more accurate at that than some data sports analysis guy
Definitely.
with an algorithm.
Definitely. Alan McCoy's won the. How many times has he won the European Golden Boot? I think he definitely once, but possibly twice.
Twice.
He knows where the back of the net is.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah,
Do you know
people
what I mean?
will say that was in the
If he says he should have scored, he should have scored.
He's scored. Yeah, people say that was okay. He won it, but that was in the Scottish Premier League. It works on coefficient, so he has to score a lot more goals than the Premier League got top goal scorer to win that.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna say put it in the bin, but I don't actually quite understand what I'm putting in the bin. It just sounds ridiculous.
Well, I get it
It's
because
stats for stats' sake, and what it's a sort of thing that people who don't go to games are on the internet going, oh well, look at these stats. I'm like, I don't care. I watched the game. I couldn't understand what's going on.
Some people live and die by XG. From fans on the internet, and for me personally, I get it a bit more, and for me, it just needs to get in the bin. It just, and I can't say that with more venom.
Well, spat with venom.
Yeah, serious venom.
Well, there it is, and it's gone, and like that, done.
It's in the bin
before I even knew what it was.
Because I own football, and
Absolutely,
I got to decide these things.
So if I turn Sky Sports News on tomorrow, and I'm like, excuse me, that should be in the bin now.
For me, it's just purely shots on goal, shots at goal. That's all I want to know.
Yeah, but who makes these things up?
I know. Well, it's like, say, a 30-yard weak effort that's on target would have a very low XG, whereas if a player's through on goal one-on-one with the keeper, that'll have a much higher XG. That's the best way I can explain it, really.
To be fair, it might as well have said chips and gravy to me.
Oh, sounds nice. That was the last one, by the way. So
was it?
10 items. We're keeping 3 of them, and we're putting 7 of them in the bin.
And we're putting everything else in the bin.
Yeah. And it's not bin day till Friday.
Fly tips on the path going up to the field here.
Yeah.
So if the Premier League want XG, it's somewhere near Unsworth Pole.
Yep, and that was Dressing Room 101. But for those still with us, coming up next, we've got Hayes manager Ryan Hutchinson and Chris Lowe joining us.
Hey, how you doing? Come on!
Nice keeper.
So we're now joined by Hayes manager Ryan Hutchinson and assistant manager Chris Lowe. Welcome.
Cheers, boys.
How we doing, boys? You okay?
Yeah,
all goes out. How are you guys? Still a bit tender from Saturday night.
Out from the weekend, but it's all worth it.
Ditto.
So if you don't mind, I've got a few questions going back all the way from when you took over. So some of it darker days when results weren't too great, all the way up to present, if that's okay.
No problem.
All right, cool. So going back to the first game in charge against Paddington, it was a heavy 3-0 loss. Didn't really go too well. It seemed in that game you were giving players who were already at the club an opportunity to show what they could do. Then in the following game against West Didsbury, you gave 5 debuts. So can I ask, in a PG way, what was said in the dressing room after that first game against Paddington?
Well, I think it was the first players meeting we actually had. We made it quite clear to the players that we thought it was right. The right thing to do was give everyone a kind of an opportunity to prove themselves. Obviously, we've not seen them play, and so on and so on. And straight after that game against Paddington, as you can imagine, we just pretty much said, "Listen, lads, we don't have time. We need to make a move." We had a quick discussion with the coaching team. What do we need to do? And the straight answer was, let's bring some players in. And that's what we did.
Brilliant, yeah. And like I said, we saw that straight away just 3 days later. So it did take a while to get that first win. In that time, we did get one in the cup against Cheadle Heath Nomads. But was there a time during those first 7 or 8 games where you thought, this isn't going like we wanted to go, how we wanted to go? Was you getting a bit worried at that point?
Well, listen, let's have a look at it. The facts were we're coming halfway through a season. Usually you would have a pre-season, and I think we've mentioned this a few times. You would usually have a pre-season coming in to have a look at the calibre of lads you've currently got, have a look at what changes need to be, who needs to move in, who needs to move out. And we had to do that while still trying to win games of football halfway through a season. So, listen, it's difficult for anybody to do that. But what we did get from the early games is we learned a lot about the current squad, about what was going on in the league so far. And like what you just said, yeah, we give everyone an opportunity, but we actually thought, look, we need to change things sooner than expected.
Yeah, it's funny because in your early days, there was actually some really poor results, but we as the supporters could actually see the progression, even though there was at some points worse results than we were having previously. We could see things were being moved on and see that it was changing and for the better. So, I mean, to us, obviously, results weren't going the right way, but we could see something happening. And that's obviously the stuff you were doing behind the scenes, bringing people in.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned previously. It literally just takes time. It really does. Obviously, we just can't change everything overnight. I think we mentioned it last time. I think it was 29 players in total have gone. We were left with one really, which is Luke Jackson. Which Luke Jackson, to be fair to the lad, I think he only come in maybe 1 or 2 weeks before we took the job anyway. So he was probably brand new as well. So I mean, we was always confident ourselves as a coaching staff that we were going to get it right. And a bit like you lads, obviously Browny and Paul, you could see it. You know, performances were good. We just wasn't getting results.
Yeah.
But I think if the performances stay, then the results will come. And I think that's, in the end, that's what actually happened.
Yeah, and it finally clicked when we played Longridge on the 21st of December. We finally got that first win. And after that, it felt like pretty much every single game, even the games where we didn't get the right result, opposition teams couldn't have complained if we did get something from those games. I think maybe with the exception AFC Liverpool away, every single game from then on. And is that something you agree with us too? And also, what do you think? Do you think that was a moment where everything just clicked, or is that just the hard work finally paying off?
What you said, time. Yeah, and when you think about it, come 21st of December, first win against Longridge, we'd had quite a bit of time there. So a pre-season, I keep going on about this, a pre-season's usually about 6 to 8 weeks. So if you look at it, we've probably had about 6 weeks in the door. We've brought new players in who we think are fit and ready for the team and current position we was in. We've also been able to create an environment where people will enjoy, because that's our main priority, is making sure that the environment for the players is enjoyable. Because like everyday life, if you're enjoying something, you'll give 100% and you'll put all the effort in without even thinking. So yeah, we've probably had about 6 weeks by then, and I think that's the real focus. Is we've had a bit of a pre-season, we've got the environment going, we've got probably a good core of people we wanted at the club in the squad, and they've been able to gel together over that period of time. So I think a great word there, what Hutchie's used is time, and I think that's what you'll have seen as we got more time. Performances improved, results started to come, and lads enjoyed it more.
Yeah, and you can see the camaraderie between all the lads as well. That's just obvious to see, I feel, as well.
Yeah, that's one of our priorities. Now, me and Hutchie have only really known each other. This is like our second season now, but straight away we're on the same page, and that's what helps. As well as the rest of the management team, we all sing off the same hymn sheet. Yes, there's disagreements, but that's what's going to happen in football and anything going on. But if the players can see that the management team are close knit, not much gets between them, they start to buy into it and get the right environment, you start to see teams thrive and performances and results come.
Yeah, and they did. And then going forward to early February, we won at West Disby and Charlton. Brilliant result, team flying high in the league. And that result got us out of the relegation zone for the first time since September. So how did you feel after that game? Actually, obviously it wasn't job done, but that was a key point, getting us out of there.
I think it was more relief than anything, just to see all the kind of the hard work that's gone on, obviously behind the scenes, has obviously not paid off, if you like. But we're all heading in the same direction, and that's you guys included in terms of the fans and chairman, committee members, players, staff. We was all heading in the right direction. So when we did get out of it, obviously we did drop back into it. So it was never a case of when we did drop back into it as if we lost belief. It was always the case of, well, we've been out of it before, so we can get there again, lads. Do you know what I mean? And that was the big message that we sent off over to the lads. But just going back to the earlier about the obviously the squad and the time, I just think our only concern as a management team, we was always confident we was going to be safe. It was just, again, I use the words time. Did we have enough time to turn this thing around? Because it was a big task, and I think I mentioned it in an early interview. It was a much bigger job than I actually thought. A much bigger job than we thought. But like I say, we've got the job done. We're buzzing now. So
yeah, so are we. Yeah.
And we know it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it kind of answered my next question there. So after that, like I say, we were yo-yoing a bit, and there was a lot of games we should have won that we didn't. I'm thinking of when we was at home, when we let a 2-0 lead slip against Pilkington. Isle of Man away, another example, the missed penalty at Abbey. So I imagine that was very frustrating. You could have really got clear of the relegation zone by then, and job could have been done weeks ago. Was that frustrating for you as it was for fans as well? Yeah.
Listen, Hutchie reminds me about that every week, because obviously Hutchie wasn't available that weekend. So the ball coming to my court, should we say, and yeah, listen, 2-0 up. Then they went down to 9 men. One of them was a keeper because 2 players got not suspended. Yellow card. Say that again.
Sin-binned, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Sin-binned. And I think we just took the foot off the gas and didn't go for the juggler. But look, we're a management team who remind each other of areas we could have improved on. We review it together as a management team. And I said, I think it was last week, we constantly challenge each other. So we don't just put it on the players. We're constantly reviewing it. What did we do wrong in that game? What could we have done better? Was our substitutions right? Was the timings of substitutions right? We've got 2 WhatsApp groups going. And like I said, we're constantly reviewing and challenging each other, but passing them onto the team. So listen, let me remind you as well, on last game of the season on Saturday, obviously Hutchie wasn't in the dugout, it was me, and joking apart, Hutchie's reminded me a few times, just said, hey, ball's in your court, you've only got 1 point out of 2 games. And I'm like, okay, there's my challenge for next season then, get more points than I have this season. But no, listen, joking apart, the main thing is we challenge each other as well as the lads, and obviously Joffy the chairman also reviews and challenges us and has open discussions. So look, it's an open book, should we say, from chairman to fans to management to players. I think that's how it's got to be to get everyone bought in and connected.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add to that as well. Is I think we made it clear, Lowe, or you'll obviously back me up on this. Is we made it clear to the lads around like the Christmas time that there was going to be areas and times in the season where you might be winning games and cruising, and you might get last minute equalisers against you, or you might lose a game in the last minute. Look at Ramsey, or you might win a game in the last minute. Look at Barnoldswick. So the actual season throws you all sorts of different emotions, and it's just as players and management is how can you control them players in them sort of situations. Like again, look at the Rammy when we got beat in the last minute. You go in that dressing room, obviously, you know what I mean? You've got to pick the lads up because you've got another big game then the next week at Barnoldswick away, haven't you? And then you win the Barnoldswick one, and then you've got to win the next one. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to kind of calm the lads down then for the next one. So it's just about just managing the season in general in terms of wins, losses, last minute winners, last minute, all that sort of stuff.
And then bringing the lads back up again after they've took a defeat in last minutes, which we have done a couple of times, and getting them back out there and
of course
back winning games.
I mean, a perfect example was we won at home to Earlham to pretty much secure safety. You try and pick the lads back up for Longridge away when really it doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really mean that much. So it is difficult for the lads, and I do truly believe if we had to win that game of football at Longridge away, no disrespect to Longridge, would have won that game. I really do believe that.
Yeah.
Then they had David De Gea in goal.
He paid me back on Saturday, didn't he? I had Kia as a youth player. Obviously, Kia went his ways and we moved on and stuff. But yeah, I said after the game, I said, "You well got me back for us parting our ways, haven't you?" So yeah, he's game of his life, I think.
And it's funny because he got an ovation off all the Hayes fans.
Yeah.
And fair play to him, and he was like, "Yeah, cheers, lads." And and that's something that at this level, fantastic.
Yeah, great.
He was superb. He was absolutely superb.
Yeah.
I think we could have spent 3 hours in their penalty area. And, if they got something on everything.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. So there's one player I want to ask you about. He's not had the opportunity to play for you yet, and that's Dylan Fitzgerald. I'm just wondering if you've spoke to him recently, how he's doing, and is there any opportunity he might have be back for pre-season?
Yeah, well, I've not actually touched base with Dylan. I think we touched base with him early doors when he first did it, just obviously to see how he is. And I think he actually shown his face, but then we just actually didn't see him then for like 4, 5, 6 weeks to be around. But listen, I always say to any player that's left or on their behalf or our behalf, the door is always open. So he will be welcome back pre-season, no doubt about it. We just need to touch base and see where he's at with it, really. But listen, he's a goal scorer at the end of the day. Them players to me are always welcome.
Yeah, definitely. And the last question is simply, what's your aim for next season? Is there a target?
Well, look, we need to sit down, and this is one of the objectives we'll discuss and probably agree as a management team. But obviously, we'll strive to get as high as possible, but we'll be realistic. If we're going off current squad, I think we've said it a couple of times, we'd probably looking at around mid-table. But who knows? You have a pre-season. Obviously, we can have a clear set of objectives for the full season instead of short-term ones. We'll be in different positions, so we fingers crossed we're not fighting a relegation battle. So there'll be loads of different factors, but if I'm being totally honest, I think it's one what we need to sit down and agree as a management team, and whether new signings come in and so on. There's a lot of discussions we still need to do, even though we've got wheels in motion. I think there's that, obviously, and Hutchie will probably add to it. We've got to have that meeting where we sit down and say, look, what is actually doable for us as a club and as a team.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing there, Lowe. What you just mentioned is like, I think we've got to realise is look where the club was probably 12, 18 months ago to where the club is now. And this is probably things that maybe probably you don't see, Brownie, probably you don't see, Paul, behind the scenes, obviously with the committee and chairman, the meetings that I've had with him. It is a total rebuild, if you like. I think I mentioned it again in another interview. So, listen, like we touched on, we'll aim as high as possible, of course we will, but the big thing is we have to be realistic. So it's short steps at a time at the moment, I think.
Yeah, me and Brownie as well. We'll happily take a nice boring mid-table. We'll be delighted with that.
100%.
Keep the blood pressure down.
100%. I'm not flying by the seat in my pants again next season.
I think the best currently we can discuss is we as a management team and probably as a club and as fans and players, we want to do better than this current season. Isn't it, between us, if we agree? But obviously, like I said, we are winners. Yeah, we will try to get as high as possible, but I think the main one is we'll be realistic. And at this moment in time, we've been enjoying what went on Saturday, and obviously the job we've had to do. So we'll need to discuss that.
Brilliant. Well, that's been brilliant. And before you go, I have got a little game for the three of you. Challenge Brownie. So it's going to be Hutchie and Lowe versus Brownie. So what this game is.
Good luck to you, Brownie, mate. Good luck to you.
He's been telling me about this for weeks and won't tell me what it is. So
it's called Gumtree Price is Right. So
okay.
Football edition. So
Take
I've
my
got
glasses
10,
off to see this.
Yeah. 10 football-related items, that genuine items from Gumtree in the last week. So for the first one, Brownie, I'll ask you how much you think it's on sale for, and then Hutchie, Lowe, you decide if the actual value is higher or lower than that, and then we'll switch around. There's 10 of them in total. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. For you, Brownie, the first one. So a 2 foot by 4 foot football table in good condition.
In good condition. Oh, right.
Yeah.
It makes a difference, that.
Yeah.
I think that means it's got footballs to be able to play with.
Yeah. 70 quid.
70 quid. So do you think it's higher or lower than 70 quid?
I've got to go lower, definitely.
I'm totally with you, mate.
Lower. Well, the actual price is 30 quid.
Oh,
that's 1-0 to Hutchie and Lowe.
Oh, they'd have had my pants down, wouldn't they?
Good job, Brownie's not involved.
Saw me coming.
Hutchie, Lowe, how about this? Brand new 2016-17 Southampton FC small size shirt.
Was that a special season for Southampton?
I don't think so. I mean, they've been up and down for years, so maybe a promotion that year. But
have Southampton ever had a special shirt?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, the Hubble one from 85 to 87. Oh, no, maybe slightly later. But
yeah, Matt Letizia.
I don't know. You're probably talking the same 30 quidish, aren't you? What are you saying, Lowe?
I trust you, mate.
I
trust you.
I've heard this a few times.
Lower, to be totally honest, but
right. Well, I'll go higher.
You're going higher than 30.
I'm going higher than. I reckon that'll go for about 40 quid. That.
I would have said.
I thought they were that brand new.
It's like 1987 now.
So it's 20 or 30 a big, because I heard a different amount from both of you. Sticking at 30.
I said 30, yeah.
30. Go on, I'll go
30. You've gone higher than 30.
I'll go higher than 30.
28.
Oh,
hey, far off there.
No, that's a good effort.
Lowe, you stick with me, yeah?
I will do, mate. I'll probably get reminded that you went 20 quid on a Southampton shirt. You're miles out, mate.
Right, Brownie. Samba goalpost, 8'6" high by 8 foot wide.
Right, I've been going far too high, me, so I'm going to go for.
Is it 2-0 us?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
We've got a safe shout here.
Yeah. 40 quid.
40, higher or lower than 40?
I'd say higher.
Oh, I'd say low. But
What condition is it in?
Very good condition.
It's not brand new.
The interview early when I said we're on the same page. We're not doing well on this one, are we?
Really?
Truth's coming out now.
This one's on you, low, but I'm saying lower, but it's up to you.
What did you say, Brownie?
10 bob. 40 quid of it.
Yeah, but it's in very good condition.
What are they brand new?
I don't know.
I ain't got
Only
a
about that
clue.
brand new, I think.
Nah, they're more than that, mate.
Samba goal. Maybe. About 70 quidish.
So you've said 40, bro. I'm going higher.
Higher. Okay, the actual
Fingers
price.
crossed.
He's bang on 40 quid. Oh, he's back in the game.
He's back in it.
Does that not a draw?
That's
No, I said 40 quid. You've
Yeah.
got to go higher and
Yeah.
lower, and
Yeah.
you've.
Just that very rare occasion you couldn't have possibly won that one. Okay, next one. So 72 football figure pieces.
What?
It's-
Have you
What
like
are they-
those bobblehead things?
So, yeah, it looks like them big head ones. Yeah, 72
these
of
have
them
been
in total.
these have been going for a decent prize.
Yeah.
I've seen
What's
these
in there
recently.
though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
It didn't
Depends
say
who-
on the
when-
listing. It was just the picture that you got, so you can have a look at the picture.
Okay.
What
But
we're saying,
it's
though,
up to you and Lowy to guess.
a pound each one, or
Yeah, I'd say about 80 quidish runs for there. Lower, what about you?
well, I was going to say about a pound each. So yeah, 75.
Brownie, higher or lower than
Higher.
75?
Higher.
Going higher than
If there's-
75?
Yeah. I'm gonna hope there's. Oh, there we go.
Oh, no.
2-2.
Back in the game.
Hey, can I go on Brownie's team and make a sub?
You weren't saying that at 2-0, was
I bet there's one in there that's worth a bit.
Hey, it reminds me of Pilkington game. This.
All right, how about this one? A signed Poland football shirt. Believe this is signed by the whole Poland team on Arthur Boric's last international game.
Okay, I reckon this will go for about 300 quid. I was going to say 350, but I'm going to stick with 300.
Higher or lower than 300?
I'm saying low.
I'm saying lower.
Right, I
You
reckon
know
Go for about
if
250.
if Lewandowski's on that pumps the price up.
You can't get Ronaldo one for that price. There you go.
£100
Oh.
back in
I'm
the league.
sure I've got everyone right at the minute. Me, I must be 5-0. Gotta be.
We'll have to do
Carry
a
me,
one-on-one
mate,
another
you carry
time.
me.
No, yeah.
Okay, next up. A second-hand football ornament or statue in good condition. So I think they got this wrong, so I'm guessing it's 30 inches high and 11 in width.
It's you lads to go first.
Yeah.
Oh,
God, fucking hell.
second hand.
Go on, Lo, what are you saying? Chance to
20
get one
quid.
right.
20 quid, all right.
I think a bit higher than that, but
Go on.
I don't know. I'm going around this again. 30 quid, mate. Can't much more than that.
Go on then, we'll change. We'll go 30 quid, mate.
Right, I'll go lower.
You've been right.
Right.
If you're
I'll
The
go
actual
lower than
price.
30. It's got to be lower than 30, hasn't it? That.
Reckon.
35.
Oh, God.
Hey,
The-
hey.
the-
Hey, don't
the
ask
two-
me. Just go with whatever Hutchinson. I'll just nod from now on, yeah? What's that, 4-2, that? Or
4-2, yeah. 4-2. Oh, number 7. Besiktas Football Club flag. Very good condition.
Is it-
Next up there, Browner.
Is it me to go? Right.
Yeah, it's your
A
goal, Browner.
fiver. No more than a fiver.
Oh, yes.
Can't be any more than that. Who wants that?
Besiktas fans.
Yeah, apparently I think he's been on Gumtree for about 7 years.
I might get it. I might get it and put it around AMP.
Are we going higher on there?
I don't know, mate. I'd have gone around the
Lower.
5 mark. I'd have gone around that sort of 5 mark myself. So
Can we have equal to Brownie, yeah?
go for
No,
the
you
draw.
can't. Absolutely not.
Why? Some
I'd say
games you
lower.
play
Let's
for
just
a
go.
draw.
Let's just go lower. That's only a couple of quid. That
Yeah, 250 or something, £3.
Something like that.
It's probably not even worth selling.
Yeah, you've been ripped off at that.
Well, it is. It is £5.
But there you go. That's what I mean. It's
What score is it now?
4-3.
4-3.
Yep.
I'm
3 to
getting beat
go.
out.
You're still
Number 8.
chasing, Brownie.
definitely.
2 football ceiling fans, blue and white, in excellent condition. It's shown dismantled. So it's a fan
I want to see
and
what
a
it
light.
looks like. I want to see
Yeah.
what it looks like.
That's the only
Bill-
picture that was offered on there.
I'm pretty sure I used to have one of them as a kid.
I did as well.
Sure
Well, how
did.
much
Remember,
did you
this is
pay
for
for
2
it
of them.
when
I didn't.
in
I have to ring Mum and
1743?
Dad. What year? Are we
Only
talking about
actual,
Lowe
though.
there? Not
I
me.
think you're younger than me, aren't you?
Yeah.
Same nothing.
Can't
Wait,
be
say
much
what?
that. That's never going back together. That's why they've only got a picture of it dismantled.
15 quid max, innit?
And it's blue and white. Not no good teams playing blue and white, do they?
This one's on you, Lowe, anyway.
Don't do that, mate.
I'd say
I've been
around
absolutely shocking.
around 15 quid.
15 quid, yeah. 15 quid.
If
Right.
that.
I'll go lower.
Going lower than
It's got to be lower than
15.
Going to be
15
about
quid.
a tenner, that, innit?
Look at
About
it.
12, about 12 quidish.
I don't care how good a condition it's in.
Sorry, my mouse slips then. There we go. 38.
What?
What?
I don't know.
Who's
I guess
buying that?
it's for 2
Get
of
in
them,
there,
I
Lowe.
guess.
Oh, I forgot there was
We'll
two.
set
Yeah. Right, nearly there. Number 9.
You can't win
So,
that.
eight.
You
What score is it? 5-3?
5-3, so you can still level it.
can get a
Still
point.
You can
level
only
it.
draw with us, bro.
Yeah.
You can only do a
So-
Pilkington on us now.
Yeah.
Hey, 2 late points.
So Brentford FC football signed by the 1920 team.
Brownie.
Right. When did they get promoted?
Yeah, that might be that year, you know.
I think it's, because that was the COVID season. So their first season in the Prem was behind closed doors. Wasn't it?
Just to
Yeah.
remind you as well, lose this, Brownie, it's game over.
I know.
Ivan Tony signed that as well, remember? Worth
Yeah.
a couple of hundred
But-
quid, that Brown, I
Yeah.
reckon.
It's worth £10,000 now.
Hey, we'll take his.
I'm gonna go with
10,000.
30 quid tops. I'm not paying any more for that.
Higher or lower than 30.
I'll give you a chance to win one.
Well, that Poland shit was only 100 quid, wasn't it? I'm going
I reckon
more.
that'd be more. That'd be
I'm
more.
going more.
That's on you, Lowe, but I'm saying that's more, defo.
I'm with you,
Go on.
mate.
All right,
But you
higher.
I'm glad you're on. Oh, I'm glad we're finally on the same
50
page,
quid.
mate.
Oh,
It's game over.
Oh. Hey, do you know what? I've kept my job for next season.
Did you
now.
not just stay lower then, Lowe? Hey, I might be interviewing me.
All right, just for fun, the
We need to
last
get
one.
Luke on here.
Last one, just for fun. West Bromwich Albion centenary year plate, 1879-1979, perfect condition. I'm guessing those signatures are printed though, because they look too good to be 40 years old, 40 plus years old.
Brian
Brownie,
Robson's
do
on there.
you want to go first again, mate? Give you a
Brian Robson's signature's on there. I can see it.
Ron
it really?
Atkinson.
Is that
Yeah,
what I
can
can
see
see?
you.
Yeah. And on the right hand side, about 3 o'clock, is Brian Robson.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it is.
That's knowledge, that.
It
Do I get
is.
any points for that?
That's old age, that Brownie.
Yeah. And Ron Atkinson on there about between
Yeah, I can see that. About 10.
between 9 and 10.
Go on, Lowe, what you saying?
150.
That's heavy.
Do you think?
50 quid. I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
Some big ones on there.
I'm going to go higher, actually.
Yeah,
Just do.
because
I would go higher.
It's a centre in here, isn't it? So it's probably worth a little bit rare plate as well.
Yeah.
got
Maybe.
some decent signatures on it. I'm
Go on,
locked
Paul,
in.
we on.
Go on.
Go
Hey,
for one.
Brownie, we might as well give you a chance, haven't we? Go on, we'll go 150.
You're going higher than 150, Brown.
I'm going higher than 150.
You're right, too. It's 250.
Yeah.
The
Same
final
scenery,
score.
West Brom. Yeah, not a big fan base.
You're a fan.
So what's that? Is that 5-4? I've got beat.
6-4.
6-4.
Oh yeah, 6-4. Obviously, yeah. I'd take my shoes and socks off to count that.
Don't worry, mate.
Well, congratulations, Rory Nutcher. So, Brownie, have you got anything to add?
I've got nothing to add to that.
Yeah.
I've been humiliated.
We've got the manager and assistant manager here. Your last chance to ask them something until July.
Yeah. Why do you want to buy a West Brom signed player? No. Do I buy a Poland shirt?
See the team sheet at the start of the season. Up front, we've got the West Brom as a team we play up front.
Ryan Robson, captain.
Yeah.
We won't be doing too bad if we had
No,
Ryan
I'm
Robson as captain, no way.
Oh, aye.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Brilliant. Well, I really appreciate you both coming on for this.
Thank you very
had
much.
a really good laugh, and thanks for answering the questions before.
No worries.
And any final thoughts, Brownie, before we end this?
No, but thanks for coming. That's been a lot of fun.
Thanks very
Cheers,
much.
lads.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Appreciate what you do.
No worries. Take care.
Bye,
See you in a bit.
Ciao.
Bye. So thanks again for Ryan and Chris for joining us. It was great having them here. Have you got any final thoughts, Brownie?
Goodbye.
TTFM.